Battletoads was a video game series created by Rare in 1991. It was made to rival the Ninja Turtles games and launched into a franchise that inspired a cartoon series and spawned several sequels and other games to follow. I'm going to try and cover a lot of them in this video, so let's start with the game on the NES. The game is about these three toads, who are all named after skin conditions, by the way. So when the Battletoads strong guy named Pimples gets captured, along with Princess Angelica, the other two toads named Rash and Zitz must go on a difficult journey to rescue him. And when I say difficult, I mean difficult. It's truly one of the hardest games on the NES, especially the third stage when the game has you riding on these hover cars and you have to dodge all these obstacles that appear. It's crazy. Even if you memorize the pattern and the timing, it still won't help. You literally need cat-like reflexes in order to do it. Sure, it may look kinda easy, but trust me, it's hard. The fact that you're always doing something in the game gives it a very addicting quality. It's fun killing things, and I love that your fist enlarges when you punch stuff. It's so satisfying. The controls are nice and responsive, which is a real important thing in something like this. So that means when you die, you never feel like you were cheated because the controls are so excellent, so you always know that it was your fault that you lost a life. The graphics are quite impressive for an NES game. I mean, this is from 1991, which is pretty late into the Nintendo Entertainment System's lifespan, so they knew what they were doing when they made this game. There are tons of colors everywhere, and a variety of different stages and challenges. The patterns, the texture, everything looks delightful, and can really make you feel like you're fighting on a different planet. The level design is definitely arcade quality. Like I said, there's tons of variety, so it never gets old. The music in the background is so cool. It's got that nice hard rock sound to it. It's probably the first video game music that you could actually call real music. I mean, just listen to it. That's friggin' amazing! Overall, the game is awesome, and if it weren't for the incredibly hard gameplay, it would easily be on the top of my list for best NES games. But it truly is one of the hardest games on the NES. It's even harder than Ghosts and Goblins, and I'm not kidding. Battletoads has a 2-player mode. You can hit the other player, which is really dumb. Now let's move on to Battletoads on the Game Boy. Basically, it's the same idea as the NES version. You just go around beating the crap out of these monsters. Your fists still enlarge, but it doesn't have the same effect that the NES did. The graphics are fine. It's like what you'd expect from a Game Boy game. The music is pretty good too, but it's nothing compared to the NES game. So overall, it's an interesting thing to check out. Just don't expect anything too special though. Alright, let's check out Battletoads on the Amiga Cd32. Now what's the Amiga Cd32? The Amiga Cd32 was released in 1993 and was advertised as the first CD 32-bit game system. However, that's absolutely false. There was a console that was released in Japan in 1991 called the FM Towns Marty that was also a 32-bit system and utilized CDs. And if that's not enough, the Amiga Cd32 was released in September of 1993, which is the same exact month and year that the 3DO was released, which also had 32-bit CD games. But whatever, I'm getting real off track here, so let's check out Battletoads on the Amiga Cd32. So it's the same thing as the NES game. Pimples gets captured, and you gotta go save him. To be quite honest, this is probably the worst version of Battletoads that ever came out. First of all, the controls are terrible. It feels really stiff when you try to attack all these monsters and stuff. And you jump like you're on the moon. The gameplay is even harder than it is on the NES due to the game's poor controls. The graphics are pretty good, but this does not look like 32-bit CD graphics. I mean, come on. There aren't any sound effects either. It's just music that plays through the entire game. One of the things that made the NES version so great were the satisfying sound effects that you hear when you're beating the crap out of an enemy of some sort. And the music isn't as cool as it was on the NES. It sounds like something you'd hear in a 70s sitcom. Overall, it's a mediocre version of the NES game. It's interesting, but not worth all the money you'll spend trying to get your hands on it. Battletoads was on the Sega Genesis too. It was a pretty good version. It had good gameplay, excellent sound effects and music, and the graphics are actually superior to the Amiga Cd32. Or at least that's how they look. There's not much to say that I haven't already said already. It's an excellent port of Battletoads, and you should definitely check it out if you own a Sega Genesis. There's tons of other Battletoads games out there, but if we looked at all of them, then this video would go on for eternity. There's just too many to name. So, check them out, they're pretty awesome, and I'll see you later.